to Between a Hot Mess and a Therapist, your not so typical self-help podcast for therapists, healers, and helpers. I'm your host, Shauna Lovin, a seasoned therapist with a rebellious spirit. This season, we are redefining freedom, fulfillment, and stability without burning out, self-doubt, or playing by the rules of a broken system. We are cutting through the noise and exploring what it means to truly live life on your terms, not by what society expects of us. No more chasing an illusion of success that leaves you drained, because we are embracing the beautiful messiness, the sometimes chaotic journey we call life. So grab your favorite beverage, get comfy, and let's dive in. Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of Between a Hot Mess and a Therapist. I hope you guys had an amazing Thanksgiving. And this is just kind of where we are, or where we've been in the last few weeks. And so here we go today. So I really just want to talk to someone who's listening today with a particular flavor of exhaustion. The kind that doesn't even feel dramatic anymore. The kind that just is. It's just there. Like a slow leak of your energy tank you didn't notice until you finally stopped moving long enough to hear the hiss. Some weeks aren't a story. They're not a chapter with clean edges or a plot you can summarize. There's just a pile, just a messy stack of too muchness. Errands that felt heavier than they should have, emails you opened like 3 times before you actually answered it, and random commercials or song lyrics that have no business hitting as hard as it did. And you know, if you a Gen X baby, we got a lot of commercials. And yet, somewhere in the middle of all that static, something soft breaks open. It's not an epiphany, not the kind of clarity like an Instagram quote made. It's just a breath that you didn't know that you were holding on to just a little bit too long. So if that is you, I want you to pull up a chair right now. Make sure you get your favorite beverage and let's go. Because there's this particular kind of unraveling that happens when life, work, exhaustion, purpose, and stress collide together. Nobody teaches us how to navigate that moment without falling apart or forcing ourselves to just push through. So we kind of numb, we overwork, we distract ourselves, we pretend that we're fine, because remember, we are helpers and we are the golden standard of I'm fine. Helpers are masters of pretending I'm fine. We should be like at an Olympic level with that shit. But when you're feeling tired, that stinging, foggy, edgy kind of tired, it's just there. It's not really sleep exhaustion. It's just the exhaustion behind the exhaustion. The exhaustion that comes up from like holding too much for too long without taking a pause, having permission, or without just being able to place it somewhere where we don't have to carry it. And we all know that version too well. It's the one that doesn't introduce itself. It just shows up on some random day in your body in some way where you move slower. Your patience is thinner. Your brain hits this buffering mode every time you try to think 3 steps ahead. That quiet fatigue that helpers tend to hide until tiny pushes over the edge, you know, like a broken pen, like a late meeting, somebody pissed you off at work, a comment from someone who doesn't know that they hit a bruise that you've been ignoring. Yeah, those moments. With what is wild is how often clarity sneaks in through the side door, not through a meditation. You sat down to do the journal, the prompt, or you plan to tackle this moment. But it comes through this unplanned, like a long drive with nothing but open road and cattle in the distance. Y'all know I'm here in Texas, and that's all we see. Or is it that brief moment of quiet when you walk outside just to get away from the screen? Yeah, those moments. Or when there's this way that nature has this talent, it's amazing talent for calming you without asking you to perform your healing first. Nature can do that too. It's always the unglamorous moments that rest us truly. The open sky, the empty space, the stretch of highway that pulls you inward without trying. Travel does that too. This is not like vacation content version at all. Not at all. But it's the simple act of being somewhere that isn't your routine. It disrupts the mental looping the long enough for you to see the places where you've been self-neglecting or compromising or kind of living on autopilot. And then you go back to work and the contrast hits you in your teeth. It just like smacks you in the face. Because when you're already stretched thin, emotional safety becomes the currency your nervous system watches more closely. And when it's missing, the environment is unpredictable, unclear, and quietly toxic. But your body feels it before your mind will actually admit it. Hypervigilance becomes your baseline. You brace even when nothing is happening. You rehearse arguments in your head that may never even occur. And suddenly, every day feels like the question, should I stay or should I go? That's the spiral nobody really wants to talk about. Because leaving feels dangerous. Staying feels suffocating. And the nervous system is just trying to pick up whatever feels less like a threat. It's not incompetence. It's not anything else. It's really just your biology. When stress doesn't reset like it's supposed to, because when our cortisol and adrenaline stays high long enough, your body forgets how to actually come down and rest again. Rest feels threatening to your body. Slowing feels just wrong. Even positive changes feel like danger. Inflammation in your body climbs. Sleep becomes weird. And either you're overfunctioning or underfunctioning, somewhere in there. Sometimes you're in both of those at the same time, in the same day, same afternoon. And if you have ever questioned why decisions feel heavier lately, it's because your system isn't distinguishing between daily stress and an actual threat anymore. It's actually all of it is hitting at the same time, like an alarm button is like going off and you need to shut it off. That's why the messy middle of career transitions feels like such a mind bender. You're torn between stability and purpose, between a paycheck and your soul's quiet, persistent nudge that says, hey, this isn't for me anymore. Helpers hit this crossroad more than most professionals because our work identities get braided up into some sense of worth. And when the environment shifts, the braid starts to like pull apart for everyone else. The messy middle isn't glamorous. It's not peaceful. It's not linear. It's very contradictory and liminal and uncomfortable, like some hallway you have to walk down and everybody's staring at you. It's like this hallway where your old life doesn't fit in anymore and the new one hasn't fully arrived or shown up either. And so you try to think your way out of this. But clarity never comes from thinking. It comes from space, breath, from slowness, from presence. And the presence is usually the first thing we abandon when our life gets loud. But here's the pivot. The reframe that doesn't feel like landing because it's like subtle and you don't want to hear it. And then once you hear it, you can't unhear it. You don't need a plan. You need honesty. You need the courage to name that you're in the middle of something that is asking you more for than what your nervous system can actually sustain. You need permission to stop pretending that you're not overwhelmed. You need the reminder that slowing down isn't failure. It's really intelligence. The human design that goes through all of these moments. This is like the way that you feel, but from a confronting and a kind of inconvenient space. That's kind of where it is. It doesn't matter the type you are, because I know we talk about it a lot, but every design tells the truth on your energy pattern. There's this part of you that knows that you're supposed to grind yourself into the dust. And then there's the part of you that makes decisions when you're not in a panic mode anymore. The part of you that needs space, real space, before clarity, can even think about showing up in this space. It's the reminder that your system has its own timing, its own rhythm, its own way of knowing. Some people get the truth in bursts. Some get it in slow unwinding. Some feel it in their body before the mind catches up. But almost no one gets clarity in chaos. Insight doesn't land when you're bracing. Alignment doesn't reveal itself when you're pretending you're fine. And honestly, none of us can track the invitations, the opportunities, the right next steps when we're buried under all this noise. The emotional noise, the physical noise, all the work noise. You can't feel your inner cues when you're sprinting through life you didn't consciously choose. You can't recognize what's meant for you when you're performing stability for people who don't have to carry the consequences. Human design just puts the language to what the nervous system already knows. Clarity comes when the static quiets. Invitations appear when you stop forcing. Direction emerges when you're finally still enough to notice what's been there all along. So, if your week has felt like a pile instead of a story, if your chest feels tight, if your brain is foggy, if your spirit feels muted, this is your reminder that there's nothing wrong with you. You're just in the middle of this like unraveling you didn't ask for, but probably really needed. The breath you're looking for isn't in productivity. It's in the pause. It's in the long drive. It's in the walk outside. It's in that small moment of silence where your nervous system finally gets to exhale. And the clarity that you've been trying to wrestle with into this existence, it will meet you in that space of slowing down, of calm, of quiet, that long drive and that walk. So I want you to take what lands, leaves the rest. And if you want to explore things a little bit deeper, you know how to reach out to me. I love to hear your thoughts. Until next time. There you have it, my friends. Another episode in the books. Remember, it's okay to be a hot mess sometimes. It's all a part of the journey we call life. Until next time, stay rebellious, stay authentic, and keep embracing the beautiful messiness of life. Want to learn more about your unique energetic blueprint? Make sure you download your free chart and learn how it can help you make choices that are aligned with who you are and not who society expects you to be. Please visit ShaunaLovinLPCS.com for more information. Anything mentioned in today's episode will be linked in the show notes. And if you enjoyed today's episode, make sure you subscribe, you share with a friend, leave a review, and keep coming back for more.